Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. It's the fact that if I turn off my video, that's who I look like.
Oh, job. Honey, you could do way better than that.
Let's just talk about it. Every time you turn off the video, that's what you got to look at. Like, no.
I did not send this to him either, so it's gonna be what's gonna be.
I'm sure Dad's gonna log in.
Oh well, I really just finished it like 20 minutes ago. So okay, cool. Wait, then you'll be able. I don't really want you to see me, because let me see how I turn off me. Screen share. Oh, I know how to. Let me go back out. Stop screen share. Stop.
Let me know when you're ready for me to let people start coming in. Maybe 9:55.
Okay. Help me with the. Okay. If I do it this way, I'm not on video, right? You're not. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think what time is it? Yep, I think I'm good to let people in. Make sure I got a bottle of water. And okay, we good.
Okay, I'll start letting people in then.
Okay.
Right. Every time you talk to me, I've had
Good morning, everybody. My name is Makeda Johnson. I'm the Director of Emerging Programs as well as Education here at the Urban League of Central Carolinas. I am pleased that you guys are here. We are not going to belabor the time. I know we'll have more people that are coming in. So thank you to individuals that are here. And I will turn this over right now to Shereese Floyd, who is our Director of Marketing as well as Development.
Good morning. Welcome to this session of Are You LinkedIn? How to Network and Build a Personal Brand. We're doing this as the Urban League in partnership with Bearings this morning, and we are excited to have you all here. So Makeda has already introduced me. I am the Director of Marketing and Development here at the Urban League and delighted to be able to present this to you today. So on the agenda, I'm going to talk about a couple things: why LinkedIn is important, what is a personal brand, how to build an all-star profile, how to network to stand out, some common mistakes people make, and I will answer any questions that you have. Feel free to post your questions in the chat or use the question feature as we go through the program, and we will discuss those at the end of the presentation. So does this sound like you? Like, first, are you looking for a job and or career opportunity? And do you want to build a stronger presence and increase your visibility on LinkedIn? You may have said things like, I have a LinkedIn profile, but I don't know how to use it. Nothing happens when I post on LinkedIn. You may think your profile is embarrassing or is boring, or you may have started a profile, but you never finished it. If this sounds like you, then you are definitely in the right place today. So when we talk about why you should use LinkedIn, of all of the social media platforms, 98% of recruiters say that they use LinkedIn the most when they are looking for new talent. So, and 89% of those has reported hiring someone through LinkedIn. 65 decision makers are on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is indexed by Google. Recently in April, LinkedIn also published that 6 people are hired every minute on LinkedIn. But when we talk about LinkedIn being indexed by Google, what this means is that when people Google you, your LinkedIn profile, if it's not the first, will be the second thing that shows up. So here, I've Googled our president and CEO, and you see the second thing that comes up for him is LinkedIn, as well as Elizabeth Cooper from Bearings. Second thing that comes up for her is LinkedIn. So 87% of headhunters use Google, to look for people to put in jobs and or careers. And 95% of recruiters have eliminated candidates based on what Google reveals. So this is really important when we're talking about building that personal brand and why LinkedIn matters to your success. So what is a personal brand? It's really your reputation, the impression that people have of you. It has nothing really to do with your title or position that you hold. It's the value and the impact that you are bringing to the world. And at the heart of it, your personal brand is not only a collection of your accomplishments, it's also the thing that people say about you when you're not in the room. That is how you have branded yourself. So if I said to you right now, think of someone who you feel like is the nicest person that you have ever met, that person that comes to mind, that is their personal brand. So you have a brand, and it has nothing to do with your career. It has nothing to do with you professionally, but altogether it comes together to create that personal brand. So the impression that you make on people in the world, how people experience you, is your personal brand. And you can use LinkedIn to shape what that impression is going to be. So let's talk about building that all-star profile. Now, an all-star profile has a couple of indicators. When you come to LinkedIn, you want to make sure you're going to have 50 connections. You're going to have a profile picture. You're going to post descriptions, your education in a minimum of 3 years in order to, 3 skills, in order to be considered an all-star. This is an internal badge. So when people go to your profile, they won't know if you're an all-star profile or not, but internally, when you log on, LinkedIn will nudge you for the things that you need to have in order to get to all-star. All-star profiles just means that you have really put time into how you're showing up, and LinkedIn tends to prioritize these profiles in the search when people are looking for people to hire. So let's start talking about what that is going to look like. As we're going through the presentation, I will give you some theory, and then we will look at some examples. So when you start building that profile, first thing that's always going to show up is that headline, the headshot and the banner. You want to make sure that you're using a high resolution image. You're going to wear what you'd wear to work. So in essence, you're going to dress for the job that you want in your profile shot. You're going to make sure that the picture actually looks like you in your present day. We all have beautiful shots, that show us 10 or 20 years ago, but it really does need to look like you in present day. You want to use the profile banner to highlight specific things that you want people to know immediately when your profile comes up. And you want to create a custom banner that showcases your desired outcome or the promise that you are making in terms of showing up in LinkedIn and what you're saying that you can do in this job or career move. And then I've just provided here a link for free Canva templates if you do not have that banner pulled together. So let's look at some examples here. As we're looking at the profile picture and we're just looking at the banner in these 2 examples. So in the first example, you have Shema here, who is, beautiful picture, is up close, there's energy, there's personality in the picture. She's saying in her headline that she's a keynote speaker, thus the banner that she is produced shows her in that way. Where you have Louise down at the bottom, who is promoting where she wants you to go. Her website, talking about what she does. And also, if you notice in Louise's profile picture, she has a banner around her picture that highlights that she is open to work. So if you are on LinkedIn and you are looking specifically for jobs and career moves, you can add this to your photo to stand out and let people know that you are looking for work. So let's talk about the headline. You get 120 characters to put your best foot forward on LinkedIn. You want to be straightforward, you want to use keywords, and you want to use this headline to show what your unique value is. You can either do a collection of the different titles, or you can do a value-based headline. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So in the first example on top, we have actually a blend of these things. So he starts off talking about that he's a writer, a content specialist, and a photographer. Those are title-based. But then he goes into value-based. where he talks about helping brands and individuals become visible using content and visual promotion. He makes very good use of his 120 characters. And if you look beyond that, look at the banner that we just talked about. He's telling you again in the banner what he does and pushes you to his website. Again, profile picture with a lot of energy. So 120 characters you see can do a lot in terms of how you want to show up and how you want to brand. I also want to point out something else about this that we'll talk about when we get to actually posting the content. Under his headline, he has talks about editing, writing, blogging, photography, and content writing. This is him telling you what his content is going to be about. And this becomes important, again, when you're networking in LinkedIn and understanding the two different ways that you can network to build your connections, excuse me. And next we have Alexis. Alexis is sticking to just keywords here. She's talking that she's a senior customer service representative. She's talking about her client-centric experience, but she's also telling you that she is looking for opportunities. So you can also use your 120 characters, again, to put yourself out there and let people know that you're open. And notice here, they are showing up in two different ways, where the top person has that you can follow them, and Alexis has that you can connect with her. And the difference here is that a connection is going to require that you put in a message. It's not really required, but it's suggested that you put in a message. You want to say something nice to Alexis so she knows how she knows you. And if you don't know her personally, then you want to give a compelling reason for why you are connecting with her. Whereby here, you can just hit the button and follow him, and then you will get to see all of his content. And this becomes important, again, when we talk about networking, when we get to that section and how you're going to show up and engage in LinkedIn. So again, we've got the one person using the keywords and the value base, and the other person using mainly keywords. Writing a compelling about section. So the about section appears on LinkedIn right under the headline and right before the job experience. The about section, this is where you are going to put yourself out there and tell people why you would be the best person for whatever position that they have open. So you're going to use this to describe what makes you tick. Talk about what your current role is. You're going to frame your past. You definitely want to write this in first person. This is not a third person bio here. This is really you highlighting who you are, showing your personality, using more of keywords. You want to write it in the way that you speak. Now, I say that as you definitely want to make sure that you're writing it in clear English, but it doesn't need to be full of jargon. It doesn't need to, show words that you think, sound smart. You write it in the way that you speak, because that allows people to see your true personality. You're showing yourself outside of work. Your about section is the biggest piece of the profile that is going to show what your branding actually is. So you're creating a narrative of your personal and professional why, the results that you provide, and the value of your work. All of that is going to go in that section. So we're going to take a look at a couple of examples on how people have done this. So as we look at Adler here, he's telling us couple of different things in this profile. He's talking about his past experiences. He's talking about what his current job is. And then he also goes into talking about what is unique about him, what sets him apart from everyone else. And so he's adding in a number of those elements to create one story here. Look at how he even starts it in the banner, where he's giving you this quote, and it goes along with everything that he has written. So he has concisely told you who he is, that he is about partnerships, and he is about sales, and he is passionate about an audience and about revenue growth. He likes to tackle complex problems. And he's telling you from top to bottom a story about who he is. He's not going into detail about the technical aspects of his job. He's not going into detail about, all the jobs that he's used to have. He's not giving you a resume. He's telling you about the person, the whole person. And that is what personal branding is. It's all of the things that are nuanced. It's not just the factual pieces. It's the elements of emotion. It's the elements of empathy. It's all of those things coming together to tell people who you are. Let's look at this next example. Right as he begins his about section, he talks about his why, and he frames it in the context of growing up and how he would dismantle every toy and gadget that's in sight. And this is relevant because he's a strategist, because he's a design thinker. And so when you think about the narration that he's giving you, the imagery that he's giving you, you can imagine a young child who is tearing down something. These are things, again, they're not straightforward when you're talking about building your brand and telling your story. It is not just about the fact that you are in this industry. So he starts very personal, and then he goes into his career in human resources, Then he starts talking about his degree. And then he talks about how he landed the job in design thinking. And all of that, again, is telling a story around who this person is. So your about section is giving recruiters a peek into what they're going to get from you. And you do that with a lot of story and a lot of imagery and narration. And then one more here. This one is very keyword driven. What you need to know is that LinkedIn is a search engine, just like Google, but it's a different context. It's a search engine. It runs on keywords. And so this person made sure to list those keywords: leadership development, team development, employee engagement, coaching, assessments. So when someone is actually going to LinkedIn looking for someone who can do employee engagement, this person's profile will show up. And how high this person's profile shows up in the results also depends on whether or not they have built out their complete profile and how much they are showing up on LinkedIn. So when we get a little bit later on in the presentation and we talk about the networking and we talk about the algorithm, how you are showing up depends on how well your profile is going to show up when someone is searching for you. So this about section, this person is being very strategic here. There's not a lot of background information in terms of story like the one that we just saw, but she, I'm assuming, is a she. Yeah, she's the co-founder of Next Level Women's Leaders. She's telling you what it is, how long she's been in the industry, and then she's giving you a much more clear roadmap to where she wants you to go. 3 very different examples. Neither one of them is right or wrong. It's just what is it and how is it that you want to show up, and putting it out there in the way that is going to attract the recruiters to you. It's always the best when the recruiter comes to you, but if the recruiter then finds you, that you're able to put a complete picture together of who you are. This one, your personal URL, is important because LinkedIn does, the default profile URL for LinkedIn, it does include your name, but it also includes, a series of numbers and letters behind it. So claiming your unique URL is really important for SEO. So remember that we talked about how Google indexes your LinkedIn profile, and SEO is search engine optimization. So this allows Google to scan or to crawl your LinkedIn profile and find you when people put your name into the search feature. This is also an asset of personal branding. So you want to make sure that you claim every asset of your name. So you can do this in LinkedIn. You can have your own personal URL. If you don't have your own personal URL with your name, I recommend that you do that. Everything that has your name on it is an asset for you. So I just did some quick little examples here using Josephine Baker of how you can brand yourself. So the top is very basic, how most people probably have it in LinkedIn, where it's just your name. The second is, how do you want to truly brand yourself? It is up to you. And the beauty of this SEO or URL is that you can change this. I don't recommend this, but you can change this as many times as you need to. Say you had a name change and you really need to, revise it. You're able to do that. But if you wanted to brand yourself Josephine Baker and you are an entertainer, you can do that. Or brand yourself as the GOAT, you can do that. So in relation to what it is that you are out here trying to let people know, recruiters know about you, you can do that. But you also want to make sure that how you choose to brand yourself in LinkedIn is consistent in how you brand yourself in other places, so that when people Google you, the story that comes back through Google is what you want to be out in the world and what you want recruiters to look for and be proud of when they find you to be proud of as well. So let's talk about how you are going to network on LinkedIn to stand out. So this goes to, if you are here because you're like, I post on LinkedIn and nothing happens. This section is the section that you want to pay the most attention to. So there are 2 ways that you are going to network on LinkedIn. One is content marketing, and the second is attraction marketing. And we're going to talk about both of them. This section is content marketing. This is where you are going to get on LinkedIn and talk about what it is that you want to be known for. So you're going to create your content pillars around whatever position it is that you're looking for. You're going to create a posting strategy and a schedule for that. Just means that you are not going to just be out here willy-nilly posting whatever, whenever, and however. There's a strategy to the reason that you're doing it, and there's a method to the madness. You also are going to invite people to work with you, invite people to hire you, invite people to recruit you. If this is what you're using LinkedIn for, then you have to show up in that space of not only putting yourself out there, but inviting people to an opportunity with you. Understand that when you are looking for opportunities, both people have to benefit from that. So people are not doing you a favor by hiring you. Okay, you also have to look at it like what you have to offer is going to work for them. So always be willing to invite people to work with you. You want to share your story and you want to demonstrate your thought leadership. Now, thought leadership is one of those things where it can get really big or you can keep it really small. Either way, all it means is that you have something to say about the industry that you want to go in, whether you're sharing stats about it, whether you're sharing your opinion about it, whether you're just sharing things that you have learned while you have trained for the industry, all of it matters. So when we're talking about using content marketing, to the left here, this is what a potential posting strategy or schedule could look like. So you could go by days of the week and decide to do different things on each day of the week. You could also pick a topic and just finesse that topic through the week. Say you are someone who is in an HVAC job, which is one of the popular things that we certify for here at the Urban League. And you want to talk about the technical aspects of HVAC. You can take a technical piece of that job and break it down on which parts of it that you're going to talk about during the week, okay? And so it doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you are, above all else, consistent in doing it. So as we look at the examples over to the right, where we have an image at the top being shared, LinkedIn loves images, loves video. These are things that will get pushed more in the algorithm versus just a text response. If we look at the bottom example, this is someone sharing a post from someone else. That is also a way that you use attraction marketing within the content marketing and using hashtags in order to be able to draw people to the content. For instance, as we look at what Susan has posted here, as she is sharing from someone else's page, she then at the top gives you her opinion about what she is sharing. Here she has hashtag Black women leaders and she has hashtag tech entrepreneurs. So what Susan is doing by doing this is that when someone clicks on this hashtag or goes to look at this hashtag Black women leaders, they will see this post from Susan. So if a recruiter is looking for tech entrepreneurs, because recruiters also look for people who are entrepreneurs to recruit from, if they're looking through this and they see Susan, this could inspire a recruiter to reach out to her because she is showing that she's interested in this topic. So this is how you would use content marketing. You can use content marketing to show, give your opinion, post an image of something that's important to you, then give your opinion on top of it, put hashtags on it to draw people back to your page and draw people back to your thoughts. Or you could also share, as Susan did, again, putting your opinion on it, putting hashtags on it. But you also can do your own thing. So you can share your personal story, you can invite people to work with you, you can share from your own motivations, and making sure that whatever you're putting out, it is still feeding into that bigger story that you're telling. Whatever it is that you're on LinkedIn to do, whatever position or career move that you're making, you want to make sure that everything that you are posting is feeding into what that overall theme is. But say you don't really want to do a lot of posting. Like you're not the content person, like you're not the content marketing person. You don't want to share, create videos. You don't really want to create your own content, but you still want to network. How are you going to do that without creating graphics and videos and all of that? So this is where attraction marketing comes in. This is how you're going to grow your audience and network without posting. So this is still have to be very proactive about it. So you know what your next career move is. You're going to look up the titles of those people, of the people who are going to hire you, whether they're in HR, whether they're a CEO, whether they're a DEI, whatever the title is of someone who's going to hire you. Then you're going to request to connect to the person or follow them. Remember, if you connect to the person, you got to somewhat give a reason why you want to connect. But if you follow them, you can still see their content in your feed and you can still post on their content. You're going to engage and comment on their posts because people do pay attention to who's paying attention to them. You're going to review job listings, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. You're going to look to see who is posting the job, who is the hiring manager that posted the job, and make sure you follow them if it's a position that you're interested in or a company that you really want to work for. Follow them. When you do post something, you want to tag relevant people in the post. Now, only do this if it makes sense, because tagging people from a job that you want when you don't really have any interaction with that person can come across as spammy. So you want to use it sparingly, but where it's relevant, absolutely do it. You want to follow hashtags that are relevant to the career move that you want to make. You're going to comment and engage on those hashtags, and you're going to use hashtags again in relevant posts. So this is for the people who don't want to post content, but still want to stand out and still want to get noticed. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So this is the job feature on LinkedIn. What you would do here is you want to go and look at the jobs, and the jobs is actually this briefcase icon that's right here. This is what it brings up when you're looking for a job. So here you have this person looking for an engineer position. You can put in the location of where you are, where you would like the job. You can also put in how many miles away you want the job to be. This will show you how long ago the job was posted, a few weeks, I believe, that you can go up to. Experience level needed for the job, any particular company that you're looking for, job type. If you want a remote or on-site job, you can filter by all of these things in the job listing. So the jobs will also tell you how many people have applied. This example doesn't specifically show, but when you go into this feature and you search, it will also show you how well your profile matches to what this person is looking for. So it shows you they're actively recruiting. It will show you how long the job has been open for. It gives you details about the organization. This was posted a month ago, and it will, if you go to apply for the job and it's not open, it will also show you that. So when you're looking specifically for career moves, using the job feature is very important because it gives you so much information to be able to customize to the type of position that you want to apply for. And I would say this, if it tells you that your profile of, say the company is looking for 10 things and you only have 2 of those 10 things listed in your profile, still apply for the job. Do not count yourself out. let somebody else tell you no, but you do not tell yourself no. I do not care if you feel like you're not qualified for it, go for it. That is the whole point of networking to that next opportunity, because you never know what it is that person is actually looking for. And they read your about section and they see something in that about section that stands out to them. Those are the things that you can't put a value on. So if it's something that you want to apply for and you see it, hit the button and go for it. Excuse me, I have a tickle. Okay. Another way that you can search for opportunities in LinkedIn is by going to the search feature. Remember, I said that LinkedIn is a search engine above all else. So here we are looking at an example of a CNA job, which again is another popular certification that we offer here at the Urban League. So here in the search feature, we'll put hiring CNA, and it will tell you, it'll pull up posts of people who are talking about it. So in this drop-down menu, there's also the not only seeing posts of people who have posted, but seeing the actual people who have posted it, excuse me, who it was posted by, the date that it was posted, from what company, from the member, who they are in the company, and the industry of the author. So again, it gives you many ways to be able to customize what it is, what opportunities that you are looking for. This feature is very, very handy because no matter what opportunity you're looking for, you can put hiring that position in this search feature and it will kick out information that you can go for. And these types of opportunities are usually not listed in the jobs feature. These are people that are just posting about it and not using that particular feature. So there are tons of opportunities in LinkedIn when you know how to look for them and how to position yourself to receive them. Another way to do this is to always use hashtags. So this is, again, part of the attraction marketing piece, where you are going to search hashtags, follow those hashtags if it makes sense for you to do so. When you decide to do so, those posts from this hashtag, anyone that posts on this hashtag will appear in your newsfeed. Or you can go and search these hashtags and more in LinkedIn. So if you're looking for an HVAC job, you see we have 471 people who are following this hashtag. You would follow this hashtag, you would go to that feed and post and comment and draw attention back to you, back to your profile. If you are just wanting to see what is out there, you can use one of these hashtags. And I pulled these hashtags from LinkedIn this morning, actually. But you can use one of these hashtags and you can see what actually is being posted. And you always want to make sure that when you are doing hashtag searching, you want to make sure that the hashtag is active. Sometimes people will post a hashtag and there's just one person following it. So you are able to see how many people are actually posting. But when you're using the search feature, you can post the hashtag or put the hashtag in, and then you can also customize it to the location. Hashtags are not always spelled correctly, and they still can have a lot of traction on them if more people have been using them. So this short list that I've given you here is by no means exhaustive. You can put a hashtag in for any type of position that you're looking for: project management, digital marketing, whatever it is, and there is probably going to be a jobs related hashtag to that industry. So hashtags are going to be your best friend when you are looking to position yourself for an opportunity and look for a job or your next career move. And then we're just going to talk a bit about the algorithm. So the algorithm changes all the time. This is currently what the current algorithm is in 2022. So LinkedIn is going to prioritize the users that you have engaged with. This is why you really want to search out those employer titles that you're looking for and engage with them, because those are the posts that you are going to see the most. So again, whatever you're trying to position yourself for, you want to engage with that content. It also prefers native content that stays on the platform. And what that means is that it doesn't like a lot of links. So say that you have written a blog post or appeared in the media or whatever the case is. It's not that you can't post that. It's just going to give preference to something that doesn't have a link. So if there's a link that is going to take a person off of the profile, off of LinkedIn in general, it's not going to prioritize that content. It doesn't mean that people won't see the content. It just means that it's not going to be prioritized. So you can use it sparingly. If you're not using links every time that you post, you'll be fine with this. But this is just showing you what exactly, telling you what it prefers. It also favors graphics and video over the text words. So if you're using content marketing, get those graphics and videos up, batch record or batch create content. Don't make it hard. It doesn't have to be hard. But the best thing that you can do for yourself in terms of the algorithm is be consistent. Consistency is everything. Consistency doesn't mean that you have to post every day. It just means a consistent schedule for you. So if you post once a week and you're doing it consistently for you. It doesn't mean once a week, forget about it, come back to it 3 weeks later, post another thing, forget about it, come back to it 3 weeks later. No, it's once a week is your thing, once a week. So it depends on how much time you want to invest in LinkedIn to be able to get the most out of it. But LinkedIn is your best solution for positioning yourself for your next career move. So we're going to talk about some common mistakes, and then we're going to move into Q&A. I've actually finished this a lot faster than I thought I would, but we'll make it work. So common mistakes here. We've talked about it, most of this stuff already. You do not want your LinkedIn profile to read like a resume, because at some point you're going to give them the resume anyway. You are going to list your job experiences, but your overall profile should not look like a resume, because that about section is designed for us to really get a feel for who you are and a feel for how you work and how you're going to show up in the marketplace, in the workplace as well. A common mistake is that you're not using keywords, and therefore people can't find you. And these are keywords for the career opportunity that you want to be positioned for. You're focused more on the job and not on the whole person. The whole person is what matters in personal branding. It is not about the position and the title. You're not inviting people to reach out to you. In social media, there's so much going on. If someone takes the time to read what you are posting, please make sure that you're going to invite them to do something, and they will do what you ask them to do. But if you haven't asked them to do anything, they're just going to pass by, same as you would if no one has asked anything of you. Your profile is out of date. Again, you're not posting consistently, and you have left that most important about section blank. So if you are making these common mistakes and you are here because you really want to increase your visibility on LinkedIn, you're going to do all the things that we have already talked about in the beginning and throughout this presentation to correct that. I promise you, I've been using LinkedIn for, my gosh, maybe about 10 years or so. And I tell you that every day I have inbound people looking for me for opportunities that I am not looking for. They are coming for me. So my question to you is, are you linked in? Because when you are, you will find that it will open up so many opportunities for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. The sky is the limit. So do not put a cap on what you can do. Do not put a cap on what somebody else wants of you. Your value can never be determined by anyone else but you. So go out there, get LinkedIn, create that personal brand, and go for it. And that is all that I have. So I hope you guys have a lot of questions, because we did finish that relatively quickly. So that's all I got.
Thank you so much, Shereese. So are there any questions that anyone has that you want to ask Shereese in regards to LinkedIn and anything that she may have said that you may need some clarifications on? You can ask your questions now. Jessica gave you a hand clap, Shereese.
This is Jessica, and I actually have a quick question. First off, this was a great presentation. I learned a lot on this. I do have a quick question when it comes to building your profile and the amount of words or verbiage that you use on your profile. Can it be, because I've always understood that, you know, typically if someone's looking at resumes, they're like a recruiter, they're scanning it, like spend about 3 seconds on a resume. I know that's a resume. So if you have too much in there, can it deter someone from actually fully reading your profile once they get to it? Or I've always been afraid to have it too wordy, if that makes sense, that they're not going to actually take the time to read through it. So I've always focused more on shorter and concise, if that makes sense. But seeing the examples here, I feel like I need to add more to it, but that was my only concern.
Yes, this is really a great question, Jessica. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm trying to see. I'm going to scan back to that slide as I answer this question. Okay. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using a lot of white space. So the question is, can you have too much? And the answer to that is yes. As with anything else, you're right, we're scanning more than we're reading. So you want to make sure that the most important stuff that you need people to know is right at the top. I always, as a storyteller, I always start with what I like to call a hook. So whatever it is that is the most important you need people to know, you want to start there. And as it goes down into the profile, the least important is going to go down there. If you have, excuse me, if you have, as we're looking at these 10 things that you can put in the profile, you're going to decide what is it that is going to be complementary to your resume. What is not in the resume? Because the resume is going to tell them your jobs and, you know, what you did in the job and what value you brought to the job. But then the summary part is going to be the complement to that. So think of this sort of, but not quite as the new school cover letter of sorts, but it's much more cooler than the cover letters from back in the day.
No,
But
that
yes,
makes sense.
yeah, you're going to use it in that context and definitely make sure that it has white space and it's not very dense. Does that help?
No, that's good. I was just thinking, you know how some people put like the objective at the top of their resume? It's almost like you said, a more detailed, better new school version of that. And I like the cover letter thought to kind of get them engaged and then go from there. So great. Thank you so much. Very helpful.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Shereese?
I have a question for the group. How many people here are actually on LinkedIn right now? And Makeda, you'll have to help me because I can't see if anyone's responding.
Yeah, you have a good majority of the group that have their hands raised.
Okay. And so for those of you who are on LinkedIn right now, how useful has it been to you? Is there, from what you have seen in this presentation, what is it that you're going to go and change on your profile? And you can pop that into the chat if you want. We're going to get you to talk one way or another.
So Raquel said keywords, the utilization of keywords.
That is great, Raquel. That will definitely help you in the search.
Shanique said everything, and Jessica said personal branding. I don't have enough.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so for those of you who are not currently on LinkedIn, put in the chat why you're not using it and how you would like to utilize it in the future. Are they talking, Makeda? Can't see.
Yes, they are. So Elizabeth stated that she's going to scan the profile for keywords and first person voice.
I love it.
And then John just stated this has motivated him to create an account. He was able to come home after graduating college, congratulations, and find a job on Indeed. So I didn't feel the need to use LinkedIn.
What I love about what you just said, John, is that if that job that you just found is not your be all to end all, if that is not your forever job, then you definitely want to be on LinkedIn building a personal brand for wherever you see yourself in the future. It could be the same industry, but you definitely want to make sure that you start building that personal brand and using that to network into all sorts of different opportunities. So congratulations to you, John. It also is interesting because LinkedIn also published that they get a new user on LinkedIn every 2 minutes. So it is growing really fast. But definitely get on there, John, and start building that personal brand.
And then Rosa says she's going to use keywords and rebuild her profile.
Oh, good. This is so exciting. I'm so excited for you guys. Awesome. So what surprised you that you learned today about LinkedIn and how it could be beneficial for you? What, if anything, surprised you in the presentation?
And it doesn't have to go into the chat. If you want to just speak out, you are more than welcome to.
I'll say this, Unique, that what surprised me, although I hear it all the time about people scanning your resume or just scan, I kind of didn't want to believe that that was really just happening because I'm kind of wordy and I like to really explain what I have going on and who I am. So that's really good to hear again. And now I really have it that that's what they do. So it's good to use those keywords and things that's just going to pop out to really describe who I am and what I have to offer.
Absolutely. Because there is so much. Now, I am of the belief, I'm going to say it this way, and then I'm going to come back and revise it. There is a lot of competition, but I am of the belief that there is no competition to who you are, because no one can be you. There's only one you. And so because there's a lot of profiles out there, we'll say it this way, your best way of standing out is to make sure that you're drawing the people to you with the keywords, and then making the best presentation that you can once they get to your profile with that information right up top. You don't want to lose them when it could be a great opportunity. Now, I will say that if they really are invested in you, they will invest in you in the profile, but you have to make it compelling enough for them to keep reading it. So that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Shereese, you also have 2 more comments in the chat.
Okay.
Elizabeth said, this is really good info. I'm on LinkedIn and I want to use it to grow my personal brand and help others find meaningful work. I was interested to learn that the algorithm favors native, non-linked content. So good to know.
Yes. These social media platforms are jealous, honey. They do not want, and they're very, very controlling. So they do not want you to be on any other platform but on them, on their platform. They actually, in terms of advertising, it is in their best interest to keep you on the platform as long as possible. So when you link out to other places, that means that you're taking eyes off of their platform. Again, doesn't mean that you can't use the links. You just want to be strategic about how you use the links, because you don't want people just going all over the place. You don't want to be dinged in the algorithm of someone who is consistently posting links, because the value of what you're putting down in is going to go down. They're not going to show your content as much.
And then Raquel said, I need you to review my account now.
Well, that's very sweet. That's always a great endorsement that something has gone well. Very cool. Thank you so much for engaging with me and letting me know what you got out of today's information. Is there any of you right now who, when we talked about that banner that goes across the top, let me go back there. When we're looking at these banner images, are there any of you right now who is sitting on the default blue banner that LinkedIn gives you? Have you all done your personalized banners? Because that's really, that real estate that you get from LinkedIn is also very important when we're talking about building your brand.
You have one person that raised their hand.
Mhm.
And then Elizabeth said it's always personalized, never the default. And Jessica said she's changed her banner. And Raquel also raised her hand.
Yay. Okay. This is exciting. Okay, good job. So no one here has the default. That is always wonderful that you have at least changed it. Good job. Are any of you right now already sitting on an all-star profile that all the things are filled out and you have that LinkedIn star on your profile? Who are my all-stars here today?
Jessica's an all-star.
Okay.
But I don't think I am after listening, after listening to today.
Everything is always a work in progress, Jessica. It's just a work in progress. I love that. Awesome. So we talked about the two ways that you can network in LinkedIn, which is the content marketing and then the attraction marketing. Which one do you think that you will favor? And it's great if you do both, because both will really truly help inbound opportunities come to you. But which of the two do you favor? Is it the content marketing or is it the attraction marketing? I'm trying to figure out where it is.
Two people said content and Rosa said both. Content.
Good. Good. Content marketing is the most fun of the two. The attraction marketing, you do have to be a lot more intentional. So the person who asked for a review of their LinkedIn, we won't do that. But what I could do, since we did end a little earlier, for those of you who are next to your LinkedIn profile right now, and who wants to read me the headline that you created, I would be more than happy to listen to those. Go back to the headline piece. And if you're happy with it, let us know if you're happy with it, you think it needs to change, and what opportunities that you're actually putting yourself out there for.
This is Jessica. I would love to read mine and get your input.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not currently looking for a position, but I'm always open to new potential opportunities. So for mine, I just have subject matter expert in compensation and benefits, strategy and implementation. That's it.
Okay. Read it to me one more time, Jessica.
Okay. Subject matter expert in compensation and benefits, strategy and implementation.
Okay. So what work do you do, Jessica?
I do compensation and benefits. So, you know, benefit designs, compensation designs for Canada and the US. So building, you know, compensation plans and all that kind of stuff for the company.
Okay. So when you're talking about and I'm asking you this as someone who doesn't know exactly what you're doing. So I am like Okay. Well, I want you to explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Okay. So when you're talking about compensation benefits, that's an area that's a function of human resources, right? Or no?
Sorry, I'm on mute. Yes, it is. It's part of human resources.
Okay. So tell me the value of compensation benefits.
Okay.
So what is the world look like if they didn't have compensation benefits? What's the value of that?
Okay, retention and retaining employees, valuable employees to your company. And the spend is one of the largest spends for a company, their benefits and what you're paying salary wise, especially when you get into executives. So I would say those are the biggest ads is it's one of the largest spends for a company, and keeping good workers and retaining them and being attractive to new people in the marketplace.
Okay. So, excuse me, when you talk about it being the largest spend, is what you do, are you able to help people reduce that spend?
Yes.
Okay. So I would, and I did hear you say that you're not currently looking for position, but maybe someone might be looking for you. So you never know.
Right. Right.
So you have 120 characters, which doesn't seem like you're using it with what you have right now. So I would consider playing around with it, but putting in for you a value-based headline that talks about that you help companies recruit and retain valuable employees, or you help companies reduce their spend, maybe not compensation spend, I don't know.
Overhead.
Yes. You help companies reduce overhead. And you don't even necessarily have to say with compensation and benefits, but it's fine if you do. But I will tell you, when you talk about subject matter expert, I would just go all in and call yourself a thought leader, because it's a difference between a subject matter expert and a thought leader. I bet if I spent time with you and talked to you about what you do, you can give me insight that would be beneficial to someone outside of your industry. So I would call it a thought leader, because people look at subject matter, it's just a little bit lower. And I want you to go high. I want you to go high.
Okay.
Does this help?
Yeah, very much so. Thank you. That's great.
All right. You're welcome.
You have a question from Kristen.
Okay.
Good morning. It's not so much a question as I was just going to go ahead and read my headline, if that's okay.
Okay, go for it.
So it says change management specialist, process design improvement specialist, and then leads into leveraging my exceptional talent and improving organization structure and processes through strategic planning and analysis.
Girl, you know I ain't catch none of that, but that was pretty fast. Okay, hold on, Kristen. Read it for me again, but slowly, as I'm trying to make a note about it.
Or change management specialist, process design improvement specialist, and then that goes into an actual sentence: leveraging my exceptional talents in improving organization structure and processes through strategic planning and analysis.
Okay, so what is your actual role, Kristen?
Right now, I'm a process design consultant, which encompasses generally everything from project management to process improvement and change management. Okay.
So your line that says you're leveraging, are you saying leveraging your exceptional accomplishments? Is that what I heard?
Talent.
Talent. Okay. Okay. So for you, similarly to Jessica, I want you to think about what this value is for the person who hires you. What are you doing for, what hiring you is going to bring to their organization, or if you're doing it, someone's hiring you if you're doing it for yourself. The leveraging exceptional talent piece, get where you're going, but that piece doesn't quantify enough what it is that you do. So you want, instead of putting the leverage exceptional talent in the headline, tell me in the summary or in the about how exceptional you are. So use the headline more to give the person who's reading it, a possible recruiter or someone who's going to hire you, what your value is. And then when they get down to that summary, knock them out with how exceptional you are with what you have already done. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I'm just, I want you to tell people that you're exceptional, but that line in and of itself doesn't do that. So use it, put better real estate there, and then knock them out the box in the about section.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Raquel raised her hand as well.
Okay, go for it, Raquel.
Good morning. I actually put my hand down because I know my LinkedIn now needs some serious work. I feel real shame.
Girl, this is a safe space. This is a safe space, honey. You good.
So mine says educational specialist, community engagement coordinator, and a facilitator of change. So I heard what you just said to the young lady before me. And so should I just go more into depth about those three areas down in my about?
Okay, read it for me again, a little bit slower.
Sure. Educational specialist, community engagement coordinator, and a facilitator of change.
Okay.
And then in my about, I talk about New Level, which is my consulting and event planning management company. And through this business, I provide educational consulting, event planning services to help colleges, universities, and corporations implement culturally responsive and engaging events and programs to promote their brand and fulfill their commitment to education, community engagement, and their market brand.
Okay. So you have a good amount of keywords in your about. In terms of what you have in your headline, I'm not mad at the facilitator of change piece, but I do need a little bit more quantification of what change you're talking about, because it's a lot of change. So give me a little bit more of what it is that you need a person to know about the change that you're bringing. Yeah, just a little bit more meat on the bone there, because outside of it, it's just, it's just a collection of words. But if you quantify it, I think you're good, because you have a lot of keywords that are throughout your profile.
So because my area of focus is more in the educational space, is that the quantifying that I need to put after the facilitator of change?
Yes.
Okay.
And so for each one of you who have read a headline, remember, we're always looking at this through the lens of how are you positioning yourself for your next? Even if you are not looking for an opportunity right now, even if you feel like where you are right now is your forever space, you have no idea who might be looking for someone like you. And I am of the belief that when folks come for you with the right stuff, right number, right benefit, right whatever, your opportunity is open at some point. So look at it through what is your next, or how do you want to show up? If you are grounded in where you are, position yourself as that thought leader, as someone who still will draw people in for opportunities that are outside of what you're doing, because thought leadership can go outside of your industry. So that is always what you want to be writing this headline for, what your next is, and quantifying it to that degree. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question on the referrals that you get on LinkedIn. So like I just pulled up my profile to look at it, and I just realized I have some out here up since like 2014, 2015. Do you think that's too old? I mean, should I just keep my more relevant ones, or because I'm like, these are old? Do people really value those when they're like 8, 9 years old?
They do value them if they're still relevant to what you do.
Okay.
So I would, and thank you for bringing this up, because I could go all the places on LinkedIn, but we want to try to keep the presentation focused. So ask for them. People that you have worked with, ask for them to refer you. Now, it will be an act of reciprocation, because if someone does a referral for you, then they will ask for it in return. So whoever you ask for, make sure that you can have that reciprocal relationship with. But if they are still relevant to what you're doing right now, people will take that into account, because your expertise is your expertise. But if it's about a completely different industry that you are not in, then you want to start asking for the referrals from people who can speak to who you are today.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if there is 1 or 2 more questions for Shereese, and then what will happen is that as of tomorrow, this recording will be on our website. So you'll be able to go back and pick up any pointers that you may have missed. Ms. Holmes, do you raise your hand?
Yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask Shereese, how do you tie in your academic as well as your community and or faith work in your LinkedIn profile?
Okay. Are you talking, hold on, you want to tie in the academic and the faith. Now, is this in relation to your position that you're in, or how you're positioning yourself? Give me a little bit more background.
Right. So I don't want to solely position myself from the career perspective, but also what I do as a minister, and then what I do in the community. How do you tie all of those in together, or we're just solely looking at the professional perspective?
No, absolutely not. It's the personal is important. So how you would tie this in is in the story that you're going to tell in the about section. So when you're coming from a position of ministry and community aspect, there is a through line between being in ministry and then also working in the community. And academically, it can also tie in terms of creating what your overall why is. So this is about what I like to call aligning your purpose and your paycheck. So when you are doing that on LinkedIn, you want to answer specific questions. What do you want to be known for? And known for, and not in the sense of your title, but known for in the personal brand realm. So your story in ministry, well, you need to write something that pulls in the community and also ties to the academic. So it's going to require for you to actually sit down and say, how is all of this connected? How is my ministry connected to the community and connected to the academic? And there is a way to do that where you're looking at what has actually happened in your life from the ministry standpoint, what has actually happened from the community standpoint and the academic standpoint, and you're going to look for a through line between those and write a story talking about what your work does and the value that you bring. Does that make sense? That was a lot.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, come through music.
So Shereese and I will stay on for a minute if anyone wants to stay back and ask any questions. We're having another session tonight from 6 to 8. So if you know anyone that may need additional assistance, and that will be with our partners Bearings as well. So we just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for supporting the Urban League of Central Carolinas. And we look forward to seeing your LinkedIn profiles go from good to great. Hope everybody has a good day, and Shereese and I will stay back for a little bit.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Shereese, I'm going to go ahead and end it so that the recording doesn't have the dead space.
Okay.